What's good, y'all? It's Stunna from Stunna Racing. Today we're going to take a look and do a review of the CSL DD GT. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video. There she is, y'all, the CSL DD GT. This is an 8Nm version. I've been playing with this for 5 weeks now, and this thing is unbelievable. Right now you're looking at the 8Nm version, which comes with this 8Nm power brick. I actually ended up buying this one separate. $150 for the powered brick. I'm not so happy about that, but it unlocked this thing, and this thing is awesome. Let's talk about force feedback. I came from the CSL Elite wheel, which is a belt driven wheel, and this thing knocks it out. It's like Mike Tyson. This thing is very responsive, it's detailed. I play a lot of F1, Dirt Rally 2.0, Gran Turismo, and I used to watch reviews and people are like, oh, you'll be catching slides a lot better. No, this is like all the way across the board. You'll feel like where the wheels are lining up on the car. Everything is very responsive. It's instantaneous. So on my TV, it really matches well one-to-one with what's going on. It has no type of delays. And going from the 5Nm version, the 5Nm version was extremely detailed. I was very impressed, and when my 8Nm power brick came in, I started playing with this. It amplified it to a whole nother level. And by that I'm meaning, like, if you were taking a turn in a corner and you were holding the wheel in one position like this, you could definitely feel the forces coming back through the wheel. I know a lot of people are like, is 8Nm a lot? I would say it's good for me. I'm not really looking for a 20Nm wheel. I know y'all have seen those from SimLab and the DD1. I think it's overkill. The only reason you'd ever want to use that is if you're trying to recreate a race from a car with no power steering. And that's really ain't my vibe. And it's really not even that realistic, since a lot of cars nowadays have power steering as an assist, so you're not trying to have a workout while you're playing a sim game. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. So it's definitely enough. And with Dirt Rally 2.0, I actually run this at 85% of the force feedback. F1, GT, I run those at 100%, and it's great for me. So I have no complaints about the power. Now, with the design of the CSL DD GT, I think it looks really clean and smooth. I mean, they put this blue rim with an F on it. That's a nice little trim. The PS5 version has these extrusions on the 4 corners. I think it looks sweet. And they designed this thing like a heat sink, so this thing does not overheat. You can play this for 4 hours and this thing will be room temperature, cool to the touch, which leads me to believe this thing's really not maxed out at its full capacity. So I'm really interested to see if Fanatec throw together a 10Nm or 12Nm version, because this thing is running just like butter at those high play times. So the GT wheel, I know I did give this a little bit of trash talk saying this thing looks like a toy. It still kind of does, but this thing is really nice. The wheel is like a rubber material. I don't race with gloves, so it's been working pretty well. I noticed 2 weeks after using it, I started getting like residue on my hands, and I had to like wipe my hands on my pants a little bit. So I don't know if it's really degrading or it's just part of the wheel texture. I might recommend playing it with gloves. I gotta get my own gloves, but I just think it's kind of weird, like when you're playing a game and you're playing with gloves. So I'm not a huge fan of that. On the older Gran Turismos, just because Gran Turismo 7 hasn't come out, these buttons are not automatically mapped, but you can map them. I think it's a really nice touch that they actually show like what the shapes are, unlike my F1 wheel where I gotta kind of remember them. It feels really good for the hands. It's a nice fit. So the connection, this is a downside of the wheel, because this is like a piece of plastic right here. I was expecting a quick disconnect like my F1 wheel, but it works. There's no play. So this thing, as you can see, it moves one-to-one. It doesn't have to twist a little bit then catch. Same thing with my F1 wheel. So my F1 wheel has a quick disconnect, and I can put it in there and there is no play. I did see some other reviews with other types of F1 wheels where they were saying they had to put the locking pin in this. So the quick disconnects have a locking pin so there's no movement. I have not had to do that. So the connection's very good onto this wheel. Looking at the sides, so I have this mounted onto a universal wheel mount from the Track Racer TR80. On the TR80, it gives you the ability to actually mount it horizontally. So they give you these little channels where you can put T-slot nuts, so you can mount it side to side. You know, you could even mount it on the top if you wanted to. You can go crazy with it. Real cool design. And then on the back, you get 2 shifter ports. You get let's see if this thing's focuses, 2 shifters, a pedal, and a handbrake. Right now, I'm currently not using that since I have the Heisenfeld Sprints, and I'm actually playing through a drive hub to my PS5 just because I'm not using all Fanatec hardware. But it is really nice that Fanatec offers this modular system. So I bought this all together as the CSL DD GT Express version. I believe it was $860, which gave me the GT wheel, the wheelbase, and then the CSL DD pedals, which had no load cell. I still think that's an excellent entry to market, especially with a direct drive wheel, because most direct drive wheels cost you $1,500, and that's just for the wheelbase. And it's a nice entry because it starts at 8 Newton meters. If you want to go crazy, you can get the 20 Newton meter versions of these direct drive wheels. The downside is they stick out a heck of a lot more, and basically it becomes a big paperweight. But if you are looking for that type of real no power steering racing, I mean, there is a market for that, but it does cost some money. Overall, I would give this a 9 out of 10. I would do it again. It's a nice entry. It's small, it's powerful, and I think it's cost effective to enter the direct drive market. I'm really interested to see what other companies do with their sim racing, because let's just face it, no one's going to be able to compete. I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to this option, especially if you're starting to get into being an intermediate to an advanced sim racer, and you don't want to dump money all into your wheelbase because you got to buy a rig, you got to get a nice pair of pedals, and then, you know, a wheelbase might be secondary or tertiary. So let me know what y'all think about this wheel. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell button, help this channel grow. You know, we're trying to hit 1,000 subs this year. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.